Hi, I am Luca Zagovesi and this is the Workbench channel. I created the Workbench to demonstrate small transparent tools for teaching finance, running hands-on experiments that show how AI interacts with financial models. Today, I am going to forecast a small company's accounts and cash flow, doing the work partly by hand, but delegating most of the modeling task to an AI assistant. You will watch every step. This balances to the cent. Assets equal liability and equity every year. By the end of this session, I have built an income statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow forecast. I'll do a little by hand, and I'll have an AI assistant to do most of the modeling. Impromptu isn't a sheet of A1, B2 cells. Each of these is a dataset, a small matrix with named axes called dimensions. This is the income statement dataset. Its dimensions are line items, years 2022 to 2026, and scenario just base for now. Dato is the container for values stored in the model, and here we have only one numeric type. The assumptions and the sales volume forecast are already wired, and that's our starting point. We will build the three statements on top. And as you see, we have pivoting functionality. For example, we can move the year dimension to page and then move it back to column without retyping any formulas to see the data differently. First, data. The debt is predetermined. I just type it in. Then in the assumptions dataset, the working capital days. Accounts receivable days is 60. How many days of sales sit in account receivable? And then the values for other working capital components. Now a formula, but watch, I barely type. Interest is last year's debt times the cost of debt. Let's click the outstanding debt header. Then we append a positional operator. It's year colon prev. Means last year's value. This outstanding debt times the cost of debt. That reaches into another dataset. Click on the header cost of debt. It's inserted in the formula. Enter to confirm the formula, and it's already computed for every year because the debt is in. Because line items are coordinates, I can write a formula by name. Gross profit is sales plus raw materials plus direct labor costs. Both these expenses are assumed to carry a negative value. Let's confirm the formula, and values stay blank because we haven't built sales and costs yet. Watch what happens to it in a second. This panel is Claude code connected to the same live model via MCP. See blog for tech details. I'm not going to dictate 20 formulas. I'll describe what the statement should do. And let's paste my instructions. Now, code is reading the structure, then writing each formula. Revenue from units times price, costs from the unit costs, down to net income. Okay, let's refresh the browser too. And you see the gross profit line that I wrote 1 minute ago, it's filled now because its inputs exist. Notice depreciation, apart from this historical value, has 0 values because it reaches into a balance sheet we haven't built. It's the first thread of a circular system. Hold the thought. 2 lines by hand on the balance sheet. Let's insert the formula for account receivable that are computed as AR days here, multiplied by sales here, divided by 365. Okay, and they are computed. Now, a summary formula for the net working capital. We have a context menu on this NWC group where we can set net working capital as summary formula. And as you see, a formula using this function sum group is automatically added and computed. Collapse the group NWC and you see one line with the final summary core computed. We take the chance to note that in Dato, the balance sheet has 2 layers, value for monetary values and delta for year-on-year change, and we will use that next. Now the bulk. I'll ask Claude for the rest of the operating balance sheet and the cash flow statement that flows from it. Let's paste the prompt here. The cash flow is the indirect method. Start from operating profit, add back depreciation, subtract the change in working capital and CAPEX. Then the financing rule. Spare cash goes out as dividends. A shortfall is covered by a stock issue, so cash stays flat. We refresh the browser, and as we see, assets are there, but there is no complete equity. Now, one more ask. Make it balance. Let's refresh in the browser too. Okay. 3 statements that each depend on the others, and the engine just solved the circle. No iterative calc switch, no circular reference warnings. Unbalance is 0 in all 5 years. Finally, a write-up. Let's paste this prompt. I ask Claude to prepare a simple report with statements, a chart, and a short narrative generated automatically from the model itself. Okay, let's refresh the browser. And here we have a markdown report. And as you see, there is the markdown code with the text, then references to datasets and to charts are inserted with these code blocks, and you can preview the report as a formatted document. And it's a live model, as one would expect from a spreadsheet-like user interface. Let's change one assumption, the average sales price growth here, from 4 to 12%. Everything recomputes, and the model stays balanced. Income statement, balance sheet, the balances, and cash flows, partly by hand, mostly by an AI assistant that understood the model. Full write-up on the blog. Next time, we turn these flows into a company valuation. And what did this take? Let's have a look at the usage panel. The total cost, measured as cost of API tokens, is $6.65. It may be included in the fixed subscription rate, because in my case I am on a Claude Max plan. The total duration, the effective duration, when Claude was working on my task, is 14 minutes and 57 seconds. The total duration, 3 hours and more, is the time that it took for me to produce this first video, so it's obviously irrelevant. This adds a transparency bit, the real cost of having an AI assistant that sits with you to build a financial model. In this video, we saw how Claude Code has become fluent in using the formula language of Impromptu, our multidimensional spreadsheet. More on that in next episodes. See you again in the workbench. The light is on.